So going back to your time in Germany,
Yeah.
and I understand you did tank recoveries.
Yeah.
So most people won't know what that entails or what the challenges are.
Well, these big tanks you see on TV and like that, they go cross country, and half the guys, they don't know what they, of course they can't tell what they're running over until they all of a sudden got the nose in water. But the biggest thing is that I was over in Mannheim, and all my records and that were on the Autobahn. I took care of the Autobahn when I was over. I went in the service in spring of the fall of 47, and I was in the Army in 1948, and I've done everything you could do.
And you told me you'd do it all over again.
You bet your life. 2 or 3 times if I was still alive. But I had a good wife, Joni, and she was tough. I met her. She was in Pittsburgh. I went to Pittsburgh High Vocational School, the first one, back in 1947.
What building was that in? What building was that in?
That was, part of it was at B.F. Brown.
Oh, okay.
We had mechanical drawing at B.F. Brown, woodworking, and electrical. And I went to them two there, and I went to automotive. The white garage is across the street from BF, going out, is that Academy Street? No, that's what the hell, that's the one that goes up over the hill to it and comes out at Patari's gas station. Right. But anyway, and Mr. Woodward was my, they had 4 types of stuff you could take. You could take automotive, carpentry and woodworking, electrical, and machine shop. Rodequins, Mr. Rodequins was a top-notch machinist, and I picked it up and I built.
Is that Jack's father?
Yeah.
Jack Rodequin?
I never asked Jack, but he was a very good man. He knew his stuff, and he was good. I used to drive that teacher's grade.
Here's my surprise face. Here's my surprise face.
Yeah, but you know that better than that. She's talked about than you about me before, I think. But anyway, Jackie Allen was Margaret's cousin. That was before I knew. Well, Margaret's mother wouldn't even let her come near me. Because I was crazy. You give me an engine, and I'm going to find out how fast.
You ran her into a tree, for crying out loud.
Well, whatever. She could have got bailed off. I'd have gone alone. I don't care.
Yeah, question.
Yeah.
Did you get A's in engines in school?
Let's see. Yes, I got A's in all the shop stuff. And
Surprise.
one of my biggest things that I had a problem, and I had 2 good teachers. Helen O'Donnell was my history teacher, world history, and Miss Fitzgerald was my literature teacher. And I just pacified them. I just do enough so they'd leave me alone. I said, hey, what the hell's that going to do with me on a power shovel or on a big bulldozer? I've run the world's biggest bulldozers. There's right down here in Harvard, an HD 41. That weighs 292,000 pounds. And
Now, to pull you off track a little bit. So the Autobahn existed as a superhighway then?
That was, Hitler built that before World War II.
Okay.
Because he built that with bunkers, and a lot of people don't know this. Bunkers on the side, that's where they put all the Luftwaffe fighter planes.
Huh. So could they
could take off on the Autobahn.
Interesting. So just, referring back, here we didn't have highways yet. We didn't get those until Eisenhower built in the 50s or whatever. Yeah. But, he had that Autobahn.
Adolf Hitler built the Autobahn.
Okay. All right, so you were in charge of keeping that clean and open and...
Well, my records and stuff were over there when we were set up over there.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't see many of these complete. And that's got the rear winch on it and everything, just the way they had it in the Army during World War II. They used to put them in gliders.
Gliders?
Yeah. They tried to tell it, remember when I don't know what you heard the story, but when I first got it, the way they used to put them in an airplane, I says. So I come to find out, I had it at a show, and this guy was a loadmaster in the Army. He says, no, he said, they used to put them in the gliders. And he said when the glider come in, they used to have wheels that fit under the runners of the glider.
Yeah.
And when they took off with it, the wheel stayed there,
Huh.
When the guys, the pilot and the co-pilot, the first job you had to do was bury them with that. When it landed, that dozer went right through and took the guy, the pilot and the co-pilot right through the nose of the plane.
Really?
Yeah. But nobody ever told them. We didn't have to go out too often, but them people travel 180 miles an hour over there.
Well, they didn't do that in a Volkswagen.
They had some Volkswagens that would go pretty darn fast. I'll tell you, they did tank recovery. Yeah, I've had it when there was only the antenna was sticking out of the mud. And I'm telling you, I'm not baloney either. See, I was in a heavy recovery unit, and I was the instructor for all of Massachusetts in the Massachusetts National Guard of recovery work and winching and records and all that. I ran the schools. I ran the first schools they ever had. Before that, what you learned at Aberdeen, they didn't know crap. Because they'd never been out and worked them in the woods like I did or on the highway. So I started the first recovery schools at Devon's.
Okay.
In the National Guard.
Okay.
And they'd send them here from all over, well, from Connecticut and from Vermont, and they'd come to Devon's and I'd show them how to hook up, and I'd flip, we had derelict tanks and stuff,
Sure.
down at Devon, and I'd flip them over and make them, light them up, and then winch them and put them on a trailer and stuff, and it's no good to show them in a movie.
Right. You gotta do it.
Because it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I know this.
Yeah.
So I've done it. Oh yeah, because a friend of mine, he's living over on Summers, on North Street, over in North Leominster, at that, right where P.K. Willard was. He's with Paul Render. His real name is Francis C. Render, but him and I did more tank retrieving and more tank hauling than anybody else down at Devon's. And he was good. And he was a tugboat man in the Navy in World War II. And but he had never worked recovery work like I worked with Charlie Dyer, the one that taught me quite a bit of the stuff I did. That man was so smart.
Yeah.
And and you never know it. You never know it.
Yeah.
But I got along good with him because I was the youngest kid there, and I went to work with him, and he kept me with him, and I learned a lot of stuff from Charlie Dyer and his boys, David and Mike and Bunny. Well, Bunny at the time I went to work with Charlie had just got burnt. He'd burnt. I don't know if you guys knew it, but he had a 5-gallon can of gas and it caught on fire, and he threw it and it burned his whole leg and side and that. And that's why he limps with that right leg. And he was in a cast from his ankle all the way up to here. And he was out there playing with the kids at 6 years old, 5 and 6 years old. And his wife Ruth she was a sweetheart. And my wife got to know her very well, and she said she couldn't believe it. She said, Ruth was pregnant with Nancy. She was big as a house, and I was single. I wasn't even married, and I don't even think I was going with Joan at the time, because I was more interested in heavy equipment.
Yeah.
Wheels didn't bother me at all. I didn't need them. So then so anyway, Ruth used to tell Joan, she said, I was as big as a house. And Charlie had a big Pontiac straight 8 Chieftain,
Okay.
black, 1948. He threw me the keys, said, take Ruth where she wants to go. That was it. That was her chauffeur. That didn't bother me. I didn't care.
Sure.
It don't bother me. And I do it today. She was a wonderful lady. Wonderful lady. And Charlie was, I learned so much from Charlie Dyer and John Chalmers and a couple others that I could never repay him. But Charlie was way up there. Yeah. And he started with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He started with nothing.
Well, it's kind of amazing to get perspective of all this. You learned all these things, small town, Shirley,
Yeah.
Lunenburg, Groton, local folks.
Yeah.
Well, you learn all this.
Yeah.
Has an impact when you're over in Germany and you're
Sure,
teaching
yeah.
people from all around how to do boat tank out of the mud, tank, whatever.
I have ran schools at Devon's. Nobody, they don't have a clue. See, they just see me walking in, but I'm calculating everything as I'm walking.
Yeah.
I don't miss nothing. But that's the general. I walked right by the general. I didn't even salute him.
Because you're doing physics in your head, you didn't even know you're doing physics, right?
I don't care. Let's do it. And I think I come back and I didn't even salute him. I walked over and talked to him. And, well, they call me there for a job. I'm the only one that knows what I'm doing. And I hate like hell to say it that way, but that's it. That's the truth. Because up until the time I taught them people how to do rigging, they didn't know squat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of us still don't. Because you calculate that you got to detract for every bend and it's going over a cube on a block and everything else.
Yep.
I moved, I don't know, a big engine like that, but as big as this room,
Yep.
with a half-ton pickup winch. I winched it onto the trailer. They just laughed at me.
What,
And I did. I told my buddy, I said, he had a front winch on his little 51 Ford half-ton pickup. He says, put it right up against the truck, the low bed.
yeah.
And I said, well, winch it on.
Just dragged it on? No wheels, no skates, no...
No, right. Then I
That
went
I
up
like to see.
afterwards and turned it, it was on backwards, see.
No.
The flywheel was towards the back. And I turned it around and put the flywheel towards the front so it'd be on where the fifth wheel was, afterwards. And it's still on that trailer today up at Orange. And we use every summer in July, we have a show up there and they bring it out. It's on that little bit that I put it on.
Wow. That's pretty cool. It's amazing.
And I don't have any problem working with women or anything. And it's surprising because I always worked a lot by myself.
Right. Yeah.
But when I'm with them, they got to do their job. Because there's one of my girls that I brought up and I got her from the Army to Devon's, and she came in, Donna Wells and Diane Fox. And Diane Fox is the adjutant in Shirley at the retired guys, us guys that are over there with the, and she's like she said you treat women the same all the time. She said, you don't have anything no problem. I said, no. I said, hey, as long as you do your job, I don't care.
And that's the goal, right?
That's it. And that's what I had to do. I was bad. But down and like I said, there with My company commander was a state trooper, the sergeant, the major, boss, right out of Commonwealth Avenue.
1010?
1010 Commonwealth.
Yep.
Yeah. And we drive onto 128. I don't care how you do this. I want this road opened up. And I says, Major.
This was the Blizzard of 78 we're talking, right?
Yep. And I says, I'll take care of it.
So how the hell did you do that? I just remember the pictures.
Yeah.
You know, and just the cars just buried in.
I could walk from one vehicle to the other. It was 3,300 cars and 800 tractor trailer units all buried together.
Yeah.
And there were door handle to door handle.
Yeah, there was that, and like they were kind of.
And there were, and I.
Like a hound's tooth always.
So I walked. I moved with the major, and they had civilian records there and that. And I said, the first thing we do, we're going to have we'll pull them out of here with our Army records, our vehicles. We don't want no civilians around. And I says, we'll pull them to a holding area back about from here across the street. You know?
Okay.
And of course, we kept going further down 128 as we were hauling them out, you know. And they brought in guys, they flew them in by big transports. Jones saw them when they were coming, they were unloading them in Boston, and they drove them out to me on 128. And I had big loaders and dozers and stuff, and they had a company commander, the commander for them crews, and there was a lieutenant, first lieutenant, and he comes up to me, and I'm only a buck sergeant. I says, hey, you want to take over? Go ahead. Oh no. He said, I never snort a stroke plate because I left the goddamn airplane. So I said, okay. He says, them guys give you any? He called a meeting with all this, he had 14 guys and 14 loaders. And he says to the guys, he says, this sergeant here is in charge. What he says, you do. I said, I won't have any problem. I says, I treat you just like I treat all my own people. And he says, well, okay. So he stuck around for a while, and then he took off because he says, my guys, they like working for you. Cause I showed them they'd never saw a snowball in their life.
So they brought him in the plow.
They brought him in with the big loaders. I said, I think we best have a meeting. I said, it's going to be short and you better listen. And so I walked right over and I took him and I said, okay, you put your bucket down and you just tip the blade, the cutting edge, just enough so that it's peeling, you know. And they did. We scratched one Cadillac that's out of 3,300 cars, and we pulled a bumper off of a goddamn Volkswagen that was frozen in the ice. The rear bumper. The only two damages we did on that whole road.
3,300 cars.
3,300 cars.
And 800 tractor trailers. And like, how'd you get them rolling? Because they're all in gear and whatever, right? So
yeah, but you take those big rear winches on those wreckers.
Just pick it right up.
They'll drag down the City Hall, you know, because it's all in your gearing and your reeving, you know, all your reeving. And no, we never had any trouble. Nobody got hurt. We had one incident. My chief, he was a colonel, Colonel Jack, was there, and this guys, they had a UPS. They called in this big wrecker. They totally destroyed that truck. They come by me, and my colonel hollers at me. I says, we ain't touching nothing. Let them tear it apart. I says, I ain't saying nothing. The UPS hired them to come and get it. They didn't want us to touch the truck.
They can have it.
We ain't touching them. And then the colonel says, he says, you're bad. He said, but I knew that before. But they just, so anyway, they got hung up in the guardrail. They tore the axles out from under the truck. They told no one else to stop. I'm just sitting there, let them do it. You know, that, once they got out of my way, I just continued the way I was doing it. And I said, then the colonel says, he says, I can't believe them people did that. He said, you haven't done any damage at all, and you've moved more vehicles than anybody else here. And you've done it. He'd seen me up at Drum and all other places doing it. But he said, nah, he says, nah. My wife knew I looked like a big bear, for Christ's sake. I showed up my suit that I had on. He said, I knew it was you. He said, there's only one guy that can do the stuff that you do. You never saw such a mess in your life. And then they bring me in there just to straighten everything out.
How many days did it take? Because I remember that went on for days and days, right?
Yeah, 11 days I come home, 11 days. Yeah, but I only slept 3 hours a day in that time.
Yikes.
And John was watching me on TV. It wasn't that big one. There was that one right there. She said, I knew where you were. And I said, yeah, I won't go nowhere. She said they weren't telling your name, but she said they didn't have to. I knew who you were. My Dexter White up the street and Archie Banks was at the farm up here at that time.
Yep.
And they made sure John was all right. And because I had a big loader here anyway, and Dexter, I taught him how to run it.
Okay.
And the cops came and got Dexter, and they took the loader, and they had to go way up the street up on Malpas Road. There was a woman they couldn't get to with the ambulance, and they went up with a bucket, picked her up, and put her in the bucket,
in a stretch road over?
and brought her out with that. And Dexter told me that afterwards. Him and I have done a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
He's a good guy to work with. He's a millwright. He was a millwright. He's retired. Him and I have been buddies since I was here before him.
Okay.
Him and Pat bought the house where Johnny Salving built up there. But I got, the biggest problem with me is I got so much stuff that.
Well, you got quite a collection of equipment.
Yeah, and I know how to run every goddamn bit of it. I run some bigger stuff than what's there.
So what got you into collecting it? Just, it was available and you had an opportunity?
No, I run them. That tractor there came from, came from up in New Hampshire.
This Ford here?
That's 4,000 Ford. The next size bigger than this was a diesel.
You still run this one, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Everything's white on that.
Okay.
I've used them.
Yeah.
Well, there's one tractor here that came from the farm, and they bought that brand new in 1940, and I was one of the first ones to run it.
And you still got it here?
I was 11 years old.
74 years ago. Right? That's my math.
Yeah, it's 1940,
yeah.
from 40 till now.
And it still runs.
And then go, oh, I put the battery, I had to run, I ran it this year.
Yeah.
I run the Star Rig on, but that Star Rig come with it in 1940. And the kids over there, it was up here on the hill, and I had a truck block.
Yeah.
The kids come over when nobody was here, kicked the block out, and it rolled down the hill. And it ran into, there's a big crane boom out there, and it ran into the crane boom. If it hadn't been for that Star Rig on the front, it's a total tractor. But it didn't even crack, it didn't even put a scratch in the sheet metal, because the poor goddamn Star Rig caught hell. It broke the legs off, and you can see where I welded new legs on it and stuff. But that's the original Star Rig that came in 1940. And it's got, I've got the original blade and the original blade, but it's got different type teeth back at that time. The teeth were made straight like this instead of hooked.
Okay.
And it takes more power to run it.
Yeah, it doesn't cut as well.
So I had a bigger blade, a better blade, so I put the blade on it.
Okay.
But I saw with it. I've been up to the sportsman club and saw it. And I've been in Dexter's used it. Him and I have done a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
Because he was the only one around here at that time. There was no other houses here.
All right.
The house across the street, but that was empty four different times in the first years. First 3 years we were here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I moved here in '96. Bought in '95, built over the winter, moved here in '96.
Yeah.
It was us, house over here built since.
Yeah.
You know, Ray was here and his family.
Yeah.
But then the other houses, I think the one up on top of the hill is for sale now. That was here. One below, they built about the same time. So all this kind of built up, you know, from the Cook property. You know, the one beauty of this neighborhood, this little area, is like, you know, the Cook family didn't want to put some big stupid development in here and just let it all go to hell. They just,
Mr. Cook said no.
Yeah. They wanted to spread it out and kind of keep it open.
Yeah.
Lucky for us.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned before I used to take my kids here trick-or-treating back in the day.
Yeah.
But after the Historical Society, you know, they had the fire in the
Yeah.
attic, and you were out there with a lull, I think, telling the boys how to get, you know,
How to take the cupola off. Yeah.
Yeah. And you saved that.
No problem.
Yeah. Just jumped right in.
Well,
Boom, done and done.
And the thing is, most of the people, the firemen and all them, know that I've been there.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't make a big thing of it.
You don't have to.
You saw the way I do it. I just, pick it up, set it right. C600 NAC, which would make it one of the heavy. This would be the same as an LF, and then the LJ would be a 700 series. It'd be just a little bit bigger, but heavier frame and that. But that's an L model cab like I drove. Mac built their own motors. They sent, they couldn't make, they built the first ones, that they called it the Mac Lenovo engine, and it would only go so long and it'd blow up. So they sent 13 of these to Germany, and they sent them back, and that motor, they'll go 700,000 to 800,000 miles.
Then you rebuild it and start again, right?
Yeah, you can put new sleeves and everything, and make a brand new motor every time. But this here runs real good oil pressure, top-notch oil pressure. Put it in the back of the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously, just watching, you're just like, yeah, man knows what he's doing, get out of the way. So.
I've been like that all over the world, and I hate to say it, but I just do it. No, I've been in some places over in Germany, boy. Lucky to get out of it, lucky to come home. They couldn't even buy me in the army. They tried, but they couldn't. Oh, well. Checks in the mail, that's all I gotta say. They still know where I am. Comes every day, and I still get my medical is all military.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, they hauled me out of here last year, this past winter down to, took me down to Brighton Marine. Because Elaine was here and Margaret was, not Margaret, Elaine and, my daughter Jean was here, right here. And I was standing right there. I said, we gotta do something. I said, this ain't going right. So they called the ambulance. I said, call the boys. So they took me to Air, and then they took me to Bright Marine down in Tanscombe. I live my life all over again, because what the hell? I got a lot of good people that I've done stuff with, and I don't have to turn around and walk backwards away from any of them.
Sounds like it's been quite an adventure. And it just came at you, you just kind of...
I just took it as it came.
Huh?
What the hell? My dad was the same way. You see, my dad and Barney's father worked together when they first started the slaughterhouse way back. I guess it was over in Groton before it was there, you know. And my dad and them he always worked with them.
So the sportsman club.
Yeah.
So you built that?
Yeah, I helped build the whole building. That was during the tornado. I was working down there during the tornado in 1953. 53, yeah.
Okay.
My brother was in Worcester. He was in the guard in Fitchburg, and he was over in Worcester, but I didn't have to go because I was in the 101 at Fort Devens.
Okay.
But no, I do a lot of maintenance. I do quite a bit down there. Even today, as old as I am, it's still part of it.
Yeah, we were down there last weekend, or the weekend before, for the Lions Club did their meat bingo.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. I know that you were going to do it.
It was a good event. Great hall though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a great feel to it.
No, it was quite an undertaking. Ruby was and Charlie were one of the biggest help in building that building, because Charlie built the first building.
Okay.
We did, him and I and the guys that belonged to the sportsman club with him, because he was a sportsman. He was very, very hard pushing it, but I was one of the first rifle, pistol, and shotgun instructors in the club, and I still am. I was mass certified and NRA certified, and I go down and check the building and stuff like that. And my son, we had our graders down there, and we left the big grader over there with the wing and stuff for a couple of years, but then Mike had to go, he works for the big power companies.
Okay.
He does 500,000 volts live, and he thinks nothing of it. Good luck. I do 220, I won't even shut the power off to change stuff on for 220, but when it comes to 500,000 volts, they can forget it. You don't even see the goddamn arc, never mind anything else. Heating, I put the shovels together and stuff in that. They said they never had a guy like me. Did Paul Keating and Warren and Bob. They were good to me. They come down. They go on it. We had the guy that was in charge of the garage and stuff like that. He was supposed to be the machine superintendent. I forgot more than he ever knew. I just pulled it over here from down there where it was last week, but that's got a 4-cylinder Wisconsin engine, V4, and it does a good job. And that's all-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and she'll turn right in her own track and stuff.
So it looks like one of the original Bobcats almost.
It is. But that was built by Case. It's a 310.
Okay. About what year do you think that was?
It's in about 1950, 57, 58, something like that. But the motor's newer than that. My brother put a new motor in it. But that, I bought that backhoe up in New Hampshire, because I use that for a lot of stuff around here. It's a John Deere 310A diesel, and it's got very low hours on it. And I use that, when it's before the first snowstorm, I back that up right where that little tractor is up there in front of the garage, and I plug it in. When I go in the morning, I flip the switch, heat it up, and go out, and the cab's all warm, and the engine's running, and then you hit the starter. I don't have to use Visa on it that way. And they knew it, Keating's knew it. They'd come down, they'd wait till after everything's over, and then they'd come down to the show. Bob and Paul and Warren would come down and talk to me, and I said, this is the way it is. There was no bullshit. If it wasn't right, it wasn't right. I don't care who you are or what you want to hear. That's been my problem, I think.
A little too honest.
Well, but I ain't gonna change.
Kind of late now.
Slightly. I guess you're right. No, but it's that's one thing. See, I'm not I think, big deal. I just do the job.
Right.
And I was that way even at, like you started to say down at, on 128 and that. Said, yeah, I'll take care of it. When the state trooper was telling me what I was gonna do. I just looked at my company commander, and he didn't want me to say nothing, because he knew I would. And I have never had trouble with police or anybody, never. I've taught them how to shoot and everything else. I still know how to shoot better than they do. I taught all my girls, Elaine and Joan, I taught her. She was an instructor, shooting age instructor, rifle instructor, and pistol instructor for the NRA,
Okay.
and for the state. Because we went to Worcester and had to take the test and that. And I said, come on, Joe. And she came with me. And she's good. I told her, I says, the biggest thing is women do not stand or support weapons the same as a man. So I said, would you know how to do it, and I know I've taught you, and I said, you can tell me what you have to do, and I said, then I can do it right. You know, I said, I won't interfere, I just let you do whatever. And she was top-notch. She was a good shooter. She top, I got a thing, I still got it, with her, with the highest score for the rifle league.
Common interest. That's the key, right? Common interest?
Yeah.
So if you can do these things together?
Yeah, right, well, but she wasn't afraid to give me hell either. Gene will tell you that.
That's also part of the secret. We don't like to admit sometimes. If you don't respect each other, it doesn't work, so.
Yeah, but I did. Well, I always respected her.
Sure.
And all her people, all her, she got two brothers that I ain't got much use for, but that's all right. But they never did, they were afraid of me anyway, so. She'd put bulldozers together with me and everything.
Really?
And she worked at the credit union, the workers' credit union, in the beginning.
Okay.
Way back when it was in on Wallace Avenue.
Okay.
And they had only one room there. It was workers' credit union.
What year was that?
And
was that?
right next to the. It was right next to the post office.
Okay.
And then it was just beyond that. And then, so she was in there, and it was in one room, and that was the credit union and everything else that was there.
And my wife works there now?
Yeah.
Good credit union?
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, my daughter is up there, Jean.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's
downstairs. She's in the cellar. They keep her hidden. She's like her father. She's trouble.
Acorns, trees, etc.
What the hell? No, she's quite a girl. Jean had put up with a lot, but way back when she was little and that with Joan, because I was gone a lot with the military. But,
Okay.
and my son he's very smart in that stuff, because I brought him up, he was with me from the time he was 4 years old, 3 years old. He always had, my wife, Johnny always got greasy when she ever had to pick him up. And all that, my mother-in-law, I had my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my Johnny's grandfather and grandmother were my best people.
Mm.
Yeah. I've had a good life. I can't, and I had, like I said, the women I had, I can't say one thing wrong with them, not one.
It's not an easy thing to find those partners.
It's just, it happened, right? And my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, and her grandfather and grandmother were top-notch people. That was Merton Demont, and he was the chief at Pittsburgh Gas and Light. He ran the power station.
Okay.
I could have gone down there in the power station and operated the power station with him.
Really?
The old man. I can't work inside. I got to be out.
Yeah.
And he was very good. And I drove his brand new Berwick Roadmaster, and he wouldn't even let his sons drive it. And boy, that went over like a lead balloon. Brand new. And Joan couldn't believe it either. She says, yeah, but I get along with all the people. And I'm not easy to get along with, because if you don't do things right in the way they're supposed to be and you're honest, you get away from me. But my wife Joni, she was the best. Without her, I couldn't have done what I've done.
Yeah.
She was that good. She was good. She was. And Margaret was good too. But both of them. Margaret had an aneurysm on her heart, on her aorta to her heart, and then nobody ever knew it. And 1.5 seconds, she was gone. And both of them might marry again.
Yeah.
That's no shit. I mean, I wouldn't have to think about it. Because I never had a problem with them. And Elaine, I'm surprised, she's Margaret's daughter. I get along good with her. But she comes and sees me quite a bit. She was here yesterday. She saw me yesterday. But she works down at Blood's a lot. She's been down there since Margaret was there, for Christ's sake. Margaret was there when she was only 5 years old. She was wrapping meat with Margaret, standing on a stool, I guess, or a ladder or something. I've always loved Lunenburg as a town, and I always will, and I've done a lot of stuff for the town, and my son has too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, John, it's been a real pleasure here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
I'm glad.